There is someone in your life right now who does not like you. Maybe they made it obvious. Maybe you just felt it, a cold reply, a look that lasted half a second too long, an invitation that never came. And even though you have people who love you, people who would show up for you without question, your brain keeps going back to that one person, the one who does not want you. You replay the interactions. You rehearse what you should have said. You wonder what you did wrong. And you cannot stop. You are not overthinking. You are not being dramatic. Your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. And once you understand why, you will never look at that loop the same way again. To find the answer, you have to go back about 2 million years. Your ancestors did not live alone. They lived in groups of roughly 50 to 150 people. Evolutionary anthropologist Robin Dunbar at the University of Oxford spent decades studying this. His research showed that the human brain evolved specifically to manage the complexity of social groups of that size, tracking relationships, alliances, and threats across dozens of interconnected people. Inside that group, social rejection was not uncomfortable. It was lethal. If the group turned on you, you did not get unfollowed. You got left behind. You lost access to food, to protection, to shelter, to mates. Alone on the African savanna, a single human being did not last long. The social group was your immune system, your food source, your entire survival strategy. This means that for the vast majority of human history, being liked was not a preference. It was a biological necessity. And your brain evolved accordingly. Here is where it gets precise. Neuroscientist Naomi Eisenberger at UCLA ran a now famous experiment called Cyberball. Participants were placed in an fMRI scanner and asked to play a simple digital ball tossing game with two other players. At some point in the game, the other players stopped passing the ball to the participant. They were socially excluded from a meaningless game with strangers they had never met and would never meet again. The brain scans were startling. The region that lit up during social exclusion was the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the exact same region that activates during physical pain. Your brain does not distinguish between a broken bone and being left out of a group chat. That is not a metaphor. That is not a poetic comparison. It is a literal overlap in neural circuitry. When someone does not like you, when you sense disapproval or rejection, your brain fires the same alarm it fires when your hand touches a hot stove. Pain exists to make you pay attention to a threat. Social rejection triggers pain for the same reason, because for most of human history, it was one. Now here is the part that explains the loop. Your ancestors who survived were not the ones who brushed off rejection. They were the ones who obsessed over it. They were the ones who analyzed every social signal, who stayed up through the night turning the problem over and over, who were relentlessly motivated to figure out what went wrong and fix it before the group pushed them out permanently. The ones who shrugged and moved on got left behind. Literally. The anxious overthinkers, the socially hypervigilant, the ones who could not let it go, they lived. They had children. You are their descendant. Your rumination is an heirloom. Psychologist Roy Baumeister at the University of Queensland has studied the asymmetry between positive and negative social experiences for decades. His research consistently shows what he calls the negativity bias. Bad events have a significantly stronger psychological impact than good ones of equivalent size. One person's disapproval can outweigh 10 people's approval in terms of how long your brain holds onto it and how much mental energy it devotes to processing it. Why? Because in your ancestral environment, ignoring a threat cost more than ignoring an opportunity. If you missed a chance to gather berries, you could find more berries tomorrow. If you missed the signal that someone in the group was turning against you, you might not survive tomorrow. The brain therefore evolved to weight negative social information more heavily, to process it more deeply, and to keep returning to it until it was resolved. The problem is that most modern rejection is unresolvable. Your coworker does not like you. Your neighbor looks through you. Someone in your social circle made it clear they find you irritating. And there is nothing to fix. No predator to outrun. No alliance to repair with a gift or a gesture. The threat is ambient, low-level, and perpetual. Your ancient brain pulls the fire alarm anyway. And since there is no fire to put out, the alarm just keeps going. There is another layer to this. Psychologist Susan Fiske at Princeton University has researched what she calls the stereotype content model, how humans automatically and rapidly sort other people into categories along two dimensions, warmth and competence. But underneath that system is something more primal. Her research shows that the brain's first and most urgent social question is not whether someone is useful to you. It is whether they are a threat to you, friend or enemy, safe or dangerous. When someone does not like you, your brain flags them as a potential threat. And threats require monitoring. Your mind cannot simply file that person away. It has to keep them close, keep running simulations, keep checking whether the situation has changed. You are not obsessing because you are weak. You are monitoring because that is what a threat detection system does. And here is the cruelest twist. The people you think about least are usually the people who like you most. The solid relationships, the reliable friendships, the people who have never given you a reason to doubt them. Your brain barely registers them. They require no monitoring. They generate no alarm. They are safe, and safe things do not demand attention. The people who create uncertainty, who send mixed signals, who disapprove. Those are the ones your brain circles endlessly. The social threat system is not designed to make you feel good. It is designed to keep you alive. So what do you do with a brain that evolved for a world that no longer exists? Knowing why the loop runs does not always stop it, but it changes what the loop means. When you catch yourself replaying that interaction, turning over that look, rehearsing a conversation with someone who barely thinks about you at all, that is not a flaw in you. That is a survival mechanism running on ancient hardware in a modern world where the stakes are almost never what your brain believes they are. The ancestor who could not stop thinking about the person who did not like them survived. They passed that vigilance to their children, who passed it to their children until eventually it arrived here, in you, in the middle of a perfectly safe life, replaying a conversation from 3 weeks ago in the shower. You are not broken, you are just ancient. And the person who does not like you, in the world your brain was built for, they mattered enormously. In the world you actually live in, they are one person, out of 8 billion. And most of the 8 billion have never thought about you at all, which, when you sit with it long enough, turns out to be the most liberating fact you have ever heard. There is someone in your life right now who does not like you. Your brain will keep returning to them. Now you know exactly why. And you also know that the same brain doing the returning, the one that cannot let it go, that replays and rehearses and monitors, that brain kept your entire lineage alive for 2 million years. You are not overthinking. You are just still running the oldest software ever written.